Social relationships are one of the hallmarks of human behavior, and one of the most powerful human motives is the need to belong. Social psychologist Roy Baumeister says humans are first and foremost social creatures.
We survive by virtue of our contacts and our connections with others, and so we need to form connections, to be accepted into groups, to form relationships, and to stay with those.
But what about social rejection? Researchers say rejection strikes at our very core.
All we do is fight, and all we do is argue. It has to be done. It's over with.
But just what happens to someone behaviorally, emotionally, and physically immediately after rejection? These undergraduate subjects who've never met before will help us to find out.
Hi, I'm Nathan. For the first part of the experiment, what I'd like for you to do is to get to know each other a little bit, have a short conversation, talk about what classes you're taking, maybe what your major is, then I'll come back and get you for the next part of the experiment.
While the subjects introduce themselves,
I'm Alexandria.
I'm Mike.
Brittany.
Michael.
they're unaware that two of them, Michael and Brittany, have been randomly pre-assigned to a rejection condition. The other two, Mike and Alexandria, were assigned to an acceptance condition. Later, we'll see how being told that no one wants to continue working with her,
No one chose you.
affects both Brittany's reaction to pain and her emotional reaction to a real-life story about rejection. And just in case you think being rejected in a lab study is no big deal,
And we find, somewhat initially to our astonishment, that even these small laboratory manipulations of being rejected by somebody you never met, you're never going to see again, even these seem to strike at the core somehow, because I think we are so basically psychologically programmed to try to connect and belong, and to be rejected is just a very basic threat.
Baumeister's early lab work on rejection showed that subjects had strong but temporary behavioral changes.
They're more aggressive, less helpful, they're more short-sighted, impulsive, self-destructive, all manner of behavioral changes.
But one puzzling finding concerned emotion. Rejected people seemed to feel nothing.
Why isn't there emotion in these rejected people? Why aren't the rejected people weeping and feeling sorry for themselves and all upset the way we all intuitively predicted they would? Is there some kind of protective or defensive reaction that's deep built into the organism, so that when you get a rejection experience, instead of being upset, you go numb?
And this study will help to answer that. After the group members have gotten to know each other, they're sent down the hall to separate rooms. Here, subjects list the members of the group with whom they'd like to continue working.
All right, so I'm just going to collect this and I'll be right back.
Then they receive this pre-planned feedback. Mike hears acceptance.
All right, usually what I do is look at those sheets that everyone filled out saying who they wanted to work with. Now, this time what happened is that everyone chose you, so that's great.
Okay.
I can't work out the groups as usual though, so what I'm going to have you do is complete another task alone.
But Brittany gets rejected.
What happened this time is that no one chose you. So because of that, you'll be completing a different task alone.
Next, this device will be used to measure the physical reaction to acceptance and rejection.
All right, Mike, so for this part of the experiment, what I'd like for you to do is to extend your right hand on the table. I'm going to exert pressure onto the skin, and what I'd like for you to do is just tell me when you feel you can no longer tolerate the pain by saying stop. Okay?
The results may surprise you. Recall that Mike was told he was accepted by everyone, but his pain threshold is very low.
Stop.
And Alexandria, who was also accepted, has low pain tolerance too.
Stop.
But rejected Brittany tolerates almost twice the pressure.
Stop.
And there's also high pain tolerance in Michael, who was told earlier that he was picked by no one.
Stop.
The people who were told nobody picked you, they are insensitive, they don't feel it. So what this suggests is that the body responds to rejection, to a social event, the same way it responds to a physical trauma, like a football player in a game who breaks a bone and doesn't know it, doesn't even feel the pain until it's over, or a soldier in battle who has an injury, who gets shot and keeps on functioning.
And what about emotional reactions? Subjects are next asked to read a passage about a romantic rejection.
Now he wants to date other people. He says he still cares a lot about me, but he doesn't want to be tied down to just one person.
Would Brittany feel empathy for this story character?
Who cares? Life's tough. She'll get over it.
And so they read about somebody else's problems, but they don't feel anything. So they think, it's not so bad, and they don't have empathy or sympathy for that other person.
Mike, however, is quite empathic after reading about a young man rejected by his girlfriend.
I feel really bad. I can totally relate. Same thing happened to me.
So what can we conclude about the early stages of rejection?
The emotion and the pain reactions are intertwined. They're probably the same body systems, and that they go numb in response to such a basic threat as being told that all these people didn't like you.
The emotional numbness to rejection is temporary, and the pain will eventually set in. But from this research, clinicians may learn how to best help people in the real world during the time immediately after a rejection.